Hey, welcome back to Left 4 Dead Garage, where I accidentally delete intros and 7 minutes worth of video on a video that's already too long. So bear with me on this one. So much went off the rails in this video on poor old Pinky, go figure, that I couldn't make it any shorter. I had over 2 hours of footage. I knocked it down to, I think, 1 hour and 8 minutes. That's the best I could do. Just bear with me. And please put your opinion in the comments on the two situations I get to deal with on this poor old truck. All right, we'll just have to deal with the background noise of the rain. I'm gonna mess around here and I'm gonna get too much done before I get it on video. So let me show you where I'm at currently. So I decided I was gonna route the wiring down this bracketry here. It does not look good. It goes up at like a 45, looks terrible. So I thought, I was fairly certain that the dash brace on Chris's truck was still here. The reason that's still here is because I put an under dash pedal assembly in that thing. So I located that. It's been repaired on both ends. That must be a common failure, and you can see how big those holes are. Like to the point where when I was taking the column loose, this washer actually just fell out, or the whole bolt and everything. The column fell out of the hole. So that will help that situation. I mean, it needs welded. It needs a welded repair. There's no other way to do that correctly or safely other than weld it. Like, that's it. There's nothing you can do there. So we'll use Chris's dash brace. It'll also give me a better routing plan for the harness right here. So you know, it actually works out more than one way, and we can feel, and that's what these holes in the firewall are. And I was just going to take carriage bolts and stick them back through there, but I got to thinking about that brace. So we'll stainless steel carriage bolt it back through, just like this guy right here. I got to drill holes in that because I repaired that because, like I said, it was broke. So I've got it kind of marked, so we'll have to drill some holes in it to match this column clamp. And then once I get that back in there, we'll start going, you know, routing the harness. Then I can figure out where I can terminate my wires. So once I get all this done, which hopefully is today, then our next step, we're going to try to start this thing. So let me get this brace back out of here. I'm going to shoot some paint on it, drill these holes, and see if we can get this thing done. All right, before the weather gets me, it says it's not going to rain, but I don't know if the weatherman walked outside. I feel like the possibility is pretty high. So I didn't get anything done after I ended the video yesterday. I guess the weather just would not let the paint dry on this dash bracket or brace. And then I got a mayday call from my buddy. His kid was broke down and my trailer was empty and tied to the Suburban, so to Charlotte we went. And then it rained, and I'm talking rain. So we'll jump back on this thing for a little while today. Let's see how far I can get. I wish I'd have came down here earlier. I feel like we're pretty close to starting it. I have not went and got a bottle of zinc though. I'm not going to do it till I can dump some zinc in there and make absolutely certain that it has the proper goodies inside there before we go to firing on it. I don't know if it's been ran or not. I did see on the company's page or one of their social medias that they had a run stand or claimed to, so I don't know, they referred to the run stand as a dyno. So take that for what it's worth. But with looking at the big picture, we probably better just play it safe, real safe. So I'm gonna get the dash brace installed and start buttoning this stuff up. And if I can get it done in the next hour, close enough. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I did drill this thing. I hope I hit the holes right. Took these bigger fender washers. Now this is a temporary fix. Painted them satin black. I'm just going to gently lay them right there and let them sandwich in between. They're big enough to where they do cover the hole. So, I mean, I know that's not a fix, but that's what I'm going to do for the moment. I'm going to stick you to the back wall here, and you can watch me struggle to get this brace in. Alright, let's turn some light on. Hopefully I didn't leave that light on yesterday and let the battery go dead. So this goes to the firewall. This goes to this little notch right here. And I'm going to try not to trap any wires because that wouldn't work out great at all. Alright, how'd I do this? Pretty sure trying not to tear up the sound deadener. Well, I'll be dang. Okay, so if you have to install one of those, go in this way, put the notch in, pull on the dash, and then sweep it over. Yesterday, I could not get that to work right. All right, we got some stainless 1/4 20 carriage head bolts. I'm going to drop those through. There's one. There's the other. Let's see. Stainless nuts. There's 2 stainless washers. Alright, let me put these on, and I'm actually going to see if I can find some stainless. Well, you know, I looked yesterday. I tried to find something better than these guys right here, because I swear it looks like something that would belong on a lawnmower. But I didn't have anything like a flange bolt or anything that was the same size and would fit through this clamp here, so we'll just have to use these. The nuts on the outside of the firewall don't look that good. It would be nice to find maybe some stainless acorn nuts, but that might be asking a lot to find. I could have used a little shorter I could have used a little shorter bolt. These are 3/4 long. What I may do is I may cut the excess off, take the nut off, and flip it over and put it back on there. That way you don't see the scuffed up part on the nut. And we'll just take the flap wheel, the little mini flap wheel, and slick it smooth and then flip the nut over. That way it's as flush as it can be. Won't be as noticeable, but I will keep an eye out for some 1/4 20 acorn nuts. I think that'd probably look okay. All right, let's see if I can. I'm praying that this is going to work. So this, I'm going to go ahead and put I need a light in here. I'm going to try to put these fender washers on this as well. Alright, I swapped them out for these smaller diameter ones. They might work out a little bit better because the other ones hit the where the angle changes there. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I can already tell you I do not like that washer, but it ain't falling through. you can't see what I'm doing, but all right. I'm gonna snug these up just a bit. Still want to be able to slide it so I can center that column up. All right, so these are the bolts for the clamp. Flip this guy over. I think I'm just going to leave this loose for now. I mean, it ain't going to fall out by no means. We'll just leave that loose for the time being. Still got to fix this steering wheel, whatever the heck's. I think I'll still leave my bungee on there. All right, so we've got a brace in. I'll show you what we got. You can see in there. Goes all the way to the firewall. Back right here. See the fender washers right there. So we'll get that snugged up. Get the firewall snugged up, and then we'll use this guy to do our wire, to hold all our wire. So let me get to that, and I'll show you where we're at in just a few minutes. All right, wiring update. The only thing I've not finished running it to, the dome light, the dimmer switch needs to be mounted. I'm going to try to reuse these two holes here. It looks like it work. So we'll put that there. I'm gonna weld this guy up. I'm gonna weld this guy up. Weld that up. Probably weld that, this, that. This is, what was I saying? CB, heater, wiper, and this one should be radio. So we'll take the CB radio, or we'll take the CB wire, and we'll put a 12-volt outlet under the dash there. Charge a cell phone or whatever, run a GPS. It may be handy. I think that's all. I just bundled up this cluster of wires here. That's high beam indicator and left and right turn indicator. We can add those if she wants me to. But a little update. I have not figured out what to do with this switch yet. So I think I covered this. We have, all right, we got the gauge lights. I think you can see that. I have, let's see, I'll show you. Well, we can just do the hazards. Got hazards going. Do have left and right turn signals. I still haven't done the rear tail lights because, well, I'm not going to run that harness just yet. Got high beam, low beam headlights. All that works. I'm going to try to show you under here. I don't know what I did with my light. Unless it died. It might have died. But I still can clean this up a little bit more. That dash brace was a lifesaver, actually. To try to run that in there. Still got to mount the gauges. See, this one I done knocked it out. I think my light is dying. Still got to tighten this up. But yeah, progress has been made. I think what I'm going to do now is probably clean up some electrical. Well, actually I'm not done, so I'll just leave it out. I'm going to dump some zinc in this motor, get the drill out, put the bump switch on this to start it, and we'll put some zinc in it, prime the motor, and I can run. Yeah, I'll run it off of a 5-gallon jug in my Edelbrock pump. That way we don't have to put any gas in the tank, because I'm just going to take that 3/8 rubber line loose anyway. So we'll just try to run this thing out of the gas can. I'll just go straight to the carburetor with the fuel pump, with my fuel pump. I'm going to disconnect, or I'm going to take the power steering belt off because it does not have power steering hoses, and I don't want to burn this pump up. So I'll just take the belt loose, put some water in it, see what it does. But yeah, let me drag some stuff out and we'll get this motor primed. All right, I was going to put my bump switch on this thing, and while I was under here, I'd realized I'd not checked this transmission to see if there was any gear oil in it. Glad I did, because I can't reach any with my finger, and I only have 1 quart, so we're going to put that quart in there. I've got the drill hooked up. It's not running at the moment, but I do have the drill hooked up. I've pulled the valve covers. I did run it for a little bit. It is pumping oil upstairs. I don't know what the details were on this motor as far as if it was supposed to be a crate motor, a reman motor, or they rebuilt it or what, but all 16 rocker arms are from another motor, or previously ran. Like dirty, all of them. Can you do that? Sure. Should you do that on something that you're building for somebody? Probably not. Like Elgin long slots, and that's not necessary on this, but just through Comp Products catalog, $70. I don't know. It's hard to tell else of what's hidden in this thing, but let's slide under here and put this quart of gear oil in it. Yeah, see, my pinky in there all the way into the far as I can go, and it's dry. So it's either real low or none in there. I mean, these transmissions don't hold a whole lot anyway. Well, that's a quart. It's running out, so it's full now. Let me just check it with my dipstick finger. We're good. All right, let me put this plug in, and we'll get this drill started and prime this thing up good. Alrighty. All right, let me start this drill. All right. You can tell those rockers have been ran. Getting junk in there. It seems that all of them are looks like everybody's pumping oil upstairs. Let's go to this side. Bottle of zinc. Got a little left in it. That one's not. Normally I would rotate the motor over, but it's on top dead center from when I pulled the distributor. I don't really want to do that. Just let it run for a little bit and see if we can get oil. So all 16. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but those rockers are clearly not new, which ain't a big deal, but it's something the owner may want to know. So putting all the details in this video I can. I'm gonna let this thing run, plug this camera up for a minute, and we'll see if we can't move forward to firing this thing today. We've hit a snag. It is all but ready to try to fire off other than the fuel pump. I went to put coolant in it, got my handy dandy funnel out, and first I thought the heater hoses weren't connected, but they are. And all my water run down all the way down behind the truck now because we got a situation. Now I don't have help to do this, so I'm gonna have to be quick. I'm gonna fill my funnel back up here. This may be a bad idea, but I'm just gonna show you anyway. Gotta hurry. You see that bath that I got going on under here? Well, that bath right there is coming out of the block. It appears to be coming out of the block over somewhere over here. That's new. I didn't see that one. I guess because I was so concerned with this side. That side over there might be just a cylinder head plug. Oh yeah, there is no, they've put the header on and there is no pipe plug in the cylinder head. So yeah, didn't even see that. But that side over there, that is 2 holes in the block. Now that it's quit leaking, we can probably slide under there. I went and looked at the 283 block and the 400 block that I have here. Neither one of those have holes in them in the same place. I sent out a text to 3 buddies who I know 2 of the 3 should have a small block real handy to look at and see if theirs has those. I've never noticed those holes. I guess I could look at the old K10 over here. Let me see if I can get you under there and we can look at it. Alright. Just above those 2 oil pan bolts are holes. You can probably see it. Water, I got water on the camera now, but you see it dripping out. I've never noticed those holes before, nor have I ever had to put plugs in them, and it doesn't look like they're threaded. So I was going to pull the starter off. Well, guess what? The starter won't come off because the header. So I've got to pull the header. And with no plug in this cylinder head over here, that header's got to come off too. Well, I guess we'll pull headers and pull starter and take a look at these holes and then put a plug in this one over here. Boy, this is crazy. So I guess we will pull some headers off and see what we find. All right, let's slide under here and take a look. Pretty sure my flashlight's still under there. I cannot tell for sure if these things have threads. They don't appear to. A 1/4 inch, a 1/4 20 and a 1/4 28 won't go. I got a pick I'm trying to put my eye out with. I got some, they feel like they got some sort of something in there. They're threaded, they're real light. I don't know what it is. The hole measures 210. I mean, the threads ain't much of nothing. If that's threads. I don't know how much. I mean, it almost looks like there's threads in that hole right there. Can't really tell with that one. Almost right there. But in a 6mm, it almost, see, that one up there looks about the same. But those threads are real obvious. So let's see if I can find something that'll fit in there. Number 10 screw is like a 185 major. So that just falls in the hole. 1/4 20, obviously be 1/4 inch. 6mm is 236. I mean, why would they be tap metric? But I can't really tell if it's threads or not. I've never seen those holes like that. Let me see if I can root around here and screw cabinet and maybe find something. But I may have to pull that starter all the way off. Try to run a tap through there. I don't think I have any. I don't know what that is. Might take the air hose and blow those holes out good and see if I can get a better look. Alright, I managed to get a 1/4 tap started in this hole, and I've been using this tiny little Craftsman wrench. Take like a button head cap screw, put some ARP sealing on it and stick it in there, but I don't know. We'll see how it feels snugging it up, and I went fairly deep into this hole in hopes maybe if there are, you know, is a smaller diameter, we'll cut some threads in the smaller diameter. I know it's hard to see in there. I mean, I ain't working with much, and I'm gonna try to get in here and do the same thing with that one, and we'll round this up a bolt, see what we can do, see how it feels. I'll get back with you. All right, I had some socket head 1/4-20s, and that's ARP thread sealing on them things. So I just wonder if I should use JB Weld. I don't think I have any. And I was hoping to hear this thing run today, but I don't believe that's going to happen. Because if well, you know, I guess what I could do is I could fill it full of water and see if it leaks. Let's do that. All right, it's 8:30 on Sunday. I've had enough. I've been down here about 9 hours today fooling with this thing. So I've got starter back on, the header back on. Fun fact, I probably need to check that side, but all 4 of these spark plugs I took out by hand. Because as I was taking the plug wire off, I noticed the plug moved. So yeah, I took all those out by hand. Need to check those. It's currently burping water. The bolts are tight. They don't seem to be leaking. That ARP thread sealant does say 4-cylinder head studs and or bolts, like a big block Chevy. Goes into the coolant on a couple bolts. So if it'll work for that, it'll work for this. I'd really like to hear this thing run today, but I'm spent. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm ready to go sit down. And we're super close, so tomorrow will be the day we can hear this thing fire off. So see you then.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Product, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Alrighty, let's see if we can get this thing to start. The 2 plugs in the block, or the 2 bolts rather, they're dry as a bone. I believe I'm going to try to track me down some 1/4-28 set screws and put those in there and take those Allen head bolts back out. It'll look better if somebody sees them. It may not be as noticeable, and then I'll just seal it up real good with the same stuff. But that ain't a big deal. I mean, just a few minutes of work I can get in there to do it. What else? Radiator's full. I just happened to check the gas tank, and it does have gas in it, so I'm just going to run it through this line. So I've seen a video of this truck running from the back, and I just assumed that it may have been running off the tank, and it has. So I poured about a gallon in on top of what's there. I don't have the fuel gauge hooked up because I don't have anything at the back of the truck wired yet, but I've got some will it run gas here for a truck that I'm doing. I'm gonna fill the bowl and I'll put you on the tripod, and we'll see if we can get this thing to light off. Now, I pulled the power steering completely off. I could not get that pump to slide for whatever reason. I don't know what the deal with that was, but get this back bolt some too. I couldn't get the pump to slide enough to take the belt off, so I just went in and took the whole pump off. I'm gonna pull that water pump and all off anyway to paint it. I won't be able to set the timing just yet because this balancer, the timing pointer doesn't jive with the balancer. See, the timing pointer is back there behind the water pump in the center of the timing cover, and the timing mark doesn't go all the way to the back of the balancer. So I'm gonna have to scribe a line or add a timing pointer or something. But I just verified top dead center with the old screwdriver in the through the spark plug hole. These 3 plugs were tight. I checked those. That should be real close as far as in time. Let's see if we got. Oh yeah. So I don't know if you've seen it, but we got a little squirter action going on there. The funnel's probably too full and it may barf out a little bit. But we're gonna run this thing. You know what? I'm gonna get my fan. We're gonna put the fan in front of the truck right here too, because has it been broken in properly? I have no idea. So we'll try to cover all our bases, and I'll just take the fan, take the little blue fan here, and we'll stick it on the grill there, blowing at it, and I guess try to run it for about 15 minutes like I would break a motor in. So let me get situated and we'll see if she'll light off. All right, my plan is to see if it'll light off, then I'm gonna run around here and check the oil pressure. I had oil pressure with the drill, but I just want to check it that way. I'm gonna idle this thing up. What else? I don't have my temp gun. I must have left the battery in it and it went dead because it's broken and it stays on all the time. If you don't take the battery loose, it will go dead. So I'm just gonna have to maintain a running back and forth and check the gauges. So let me turn the ignition on. Let's see if it'll light off. Header tube glowing already. That should not be. could blow that quick. That's kind of crazy. Look down in there. Wow. All right, I'm gonna put this little clip in here and I'll play this a couple of times. When I shut this truck off in this video, I remember it popping through the mufflers. You can hear it. Because when it popped through the mufflers, I kind of laughed to myself because I was like, that's odd. I mean, it wasn't idled up that high. Looking back, what it might have been was that back, the secondary's leaking, and I didn't know it at the time. But anyway, when I shut it off, you'll hear it, boom, you'll hear it pop through the mufflers. I want you to look at that yellow funnel right there. Listen to the sound, look at the funnel. Explain that to me. Is that part of the funky water in the oil that I got going on? Why would that backfire cause that funnel to shoot water in the air? So I'll cut the clip and play it a couple of times. So please let me know your thoughts on that. Is it coincidental or is it related? All right, that wasn't really what I had planned. I don't believe the temp gauge works. Not too sure what the deal with that is, but the fan's on, and that's at 185. Yeah, for some reason the temp gauge ain't working, and those headers got hot quick. And number 8 back there was really red. So I'm not too sure why it would be that lean, but now I don't know what the temperature is, so probably need to check that out so I can keep an eye on it. I don't really know how to check this unless I ground the actual, I mean, it's just right here, it's plugged in. It don't do any different. I feel sure that's the right wire. Water temp gauge. So it is the right wire. I mean, could be a bad sending unit, could be the wrong sending unit. I don't really know. But we're going to have to do a little troubleshooting on that. I don't really want to run it much without knowing the temperature. So I guess we'll just pump the brakes right there for the time being and let me try to figure this temp sender out. Okay, tried to rob the remote in the house for a 9-volt, but AA and AAA is all we had. I did confirm that there is an issue with this sending unit. I took the power probe and I applied a ground to the wire. I've made a jumper now. To this wire, the gauge pegged out. There was a ground coming from the gauge to the wire. So this is an autometer that's leaking, actually. This is an autometer sending unit that I stuck in there just to see if it would read on the gauge, and it in fact does. I don't really want to snug it up too much because it ain't staying in here. But you can see, turn this switch on, the gauge does read a little over 100 degrees now. So I'll try to crank it again. There may be a vacuum leak causing those headers to quickly glow red like that. I wouldn't think it would be that lean just through the carburetor, but I'm gonna back the idle off and then see what happens. So I'm gonna stick you back over there and see what we can do. All right, got some serious problems here. So I'll start it again, let it run maybe 10 minutes. Like enough for the fan to come on. And like I said, this might not be the right temp gauge, but I mean, even the upper hose isn't hot enough to, I mean, it's not boiling over. You can see I got a funnel in the top. However, let me get a light, because I ain't even been under here yet. I just happened to look under the truck to see if I had any leaks. Well, I don't know what we got going on. This ain't good. We got milkshake. It is coming out of the, what looks like the rear main, and somewhere right there, see the oil pan bolt. It's barfing out of that. And that's what I seen. And I was like, dang, why does that look like milky oil? So I'll be honest with you, I don't. There is milkshake. Maybe it's running down. Okay, it's not coming out the rear main, but it's running down the oil pan. You can see it on the fins. So it's barfing out of right there. I don't know what that means. Like, I mean, I know what that means, but I don't, this is terrible. So, all right, this dipstick's like hot as fire. There goes my power probe. Milkshake. It was still holding about 50 pounds of oil pressure. This ain't good. I'm gonna pull these valve covers and let's take a look and see what's under there. And it's pretty warm still. All right, let me put this camera on charge and let this thing cool down, and we'll pull these valve covers. All right, I didn't even let it cool off. I just went ahead and pulled this driver's side valve cover. And for whatever reason, it's getting water in the crankcase. I pulled the passenger valve cover, but I'm sure it's doing the same thing. I don't even want to tell the owner this. Like, I feel like I've been the Grim Reaper of nothing but bad news since the get-go. This is crazy. I mean, unreal. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna call the customer and I'll get back to you. I'll talk loud here. My mic went dead. So I feel like this is an intake gasket. Only reason I'm leaning that way is because I've got it pumped up here. And I had it on 20 pounds exactly, and it has fallen off. I don't know if you can, and I can see it's very faint. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's barely bubbling now. But if you look right there, there's an external leak. So that may be our problem. I talked to a guy that worked at this place just now, and I also talked to the owner. She was under the impression this was a crate motor. It's definitely not. The guy I talked to said that they told me who they sent machine work out to, and this was assembled in-house. He did confirm that they do have a run stand, but this motor was not ran on the stand, and it was only briefly started in the truck, which is probably maybe that video that I have. So it's been, and he did say that it did not have coolant in it. And if I'm not mistaken, the owner and her father actually put the hoses on this truck, so it definitely didn't have any coolant or water or whatever in it. And like I told the guy, if there was ever any water or coolant put in it, it would have definitely run out on the floor in the room where the run stand was. So I'm going to O'Reilly's. I'm gonna get oil, get additive again, and intake manifold gaskets. And I'm gonna pull this intake off and see if we can seal it up. This is the cheapest, and plus with that external leak, that has me thinking that it could be a slipped gasket. You know, it could be anything. I'm gonna head to O'Reilly's and get some parts, and let's tear this thing back apart. All right, it's raining again, so we just have to kind of work around the background noise. I got the intake off. I didn't really see anything that jumped out at me. This is a very tricky intake to try to get some of these bolts tight. Like I feel like it needs a socket head, like a socket head cap screw, because I like to never got the 4 center bolts out, and the ones on the driver's side were just barely tight because the way the intake manifold's shaped, you can't get on top of it. See how it's countersunk? We've got like a little counter bore. That one's deep. That one's not so bad, but I feel like they need a washer to fit that, and maybe an Allen screw. That way you can tighten them up. This gasket stuck to it, but I feel like this is my culprit. It is glued. There is a little milkshake right here, but I mean, it's nowhere else. Not saying that that's it. It is a Felpro gasket. I've not seen anybody use the rubbers on the end of an intake in a long time. I wondered why it wasn't stuck to the... So, we'll take these out. We'll get this valley cleaned up real quick, and I'm gonna try to stick this intake right back on there. According to the radar, I got some heavy rain coming, so I probably won't video the install, but just because the background noise is terrible. So let me get this cleaned up and this valley cleaned out. I got a gallon of VR1. O'Reilly's used to have Lucas hot rod oil or whatever it was called, but I got a gallon of VR1, or 5 quarts of VR1. I had to go clear across town to get this zinc additive because I bought the last bottle that O'Reilly's had yesterday. Got a Wix 51060 filter and a set of intake gaskets. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up, get this intake cleaned up, and I'm gonna stick this thing back together. All right, I'm calling it for the night. I've had enough. Valve cover just set on there. Don't have the distributor in yet. Just got my oil primer dropped in the hole. Intake's on, full of oil. I got washers. So I got washers on the 2 outers, front and back, and then these center ones right here. I took a 5/16 washer and drilled the hole 3/8, and it fit right down in that little countersink type deal pretty good, except for this one. It probably needs a couple of washers. That one's deeper than any of the other 4 inners or any of the other 3 inners. Well, you get what I'm saying. Yeah, so the intake's back on, oil's in it. Distributor, I got some hose clamps to put on, fill it with coolant, yada yada yada. And I don't know if I'll get to work on it tomorrow. I've got a hot date with lawnmower. and that thing usually robs me of 3 hours of my life. So I probably won't get back on it till Wednesday. I don't know. Maybe I'll put off mowing till Wednesday. Well, either way, I'm shutting it down for tonight. We'll see you in a day or so. All right, little update here. Where did we leave off? Pulling the intake, I believe. I've not kept up with edits this week, so I can't remember what I've told you and what I've not, so maybe I have to edit that out too. So we pulled the intake, pulled the valve covers, cleaned everything up. That was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. I'd already went ahead and put the intake manifold back on Sunday, but it was like 8:30, so I didn't crank it. Monday I came down and I put water in it and finished everything up. Hoses, fuel line, distributor, plug wires back on. So we're back like this. Let's see, I'm trying to get my timeline here. Monday, I believe, had my days mixed up. Had to look at the calendar. So Sunday we put it together. Monday we fired it. That was the 6th, May 6th. That's when I realized I had milkshake for whatever reason. I've had a couple days to ponder on this. Still not 100% sure, but I'll run these by you. A, intake gasket leak. Possible. I did pump it up, and it did have an external leak. I pumped it up with the coolant system pressure tester. So Sunday I filled it full of water, and my big yellow funnel, the big one that sits on top of the radiator right there, was full of water. So it had water well above the full line. Is it possible that it had a cold water leak? Like, big trucks have cold water leaks till they get warm and they quit. I know it's a weird thing if you've never experienced that. It does exist. I didn't pay much attention to it, but Monday when I started it, I had to add about a gallon of water back to it. I thought maybe air bubble. I didn't think nothing about it. Thought air bubble, it finally drained down. We're full. So I added a gallon of water because I had to go up there and get water. I didn't run it long the first time because all 8 header tubes were glowing red. Like, I've never seen header tubes glow like that quick. Like, it looked like Dyno Room in the Dark video, you know, from whatever it is, Motor Trend or something. So I shut it down. It didn't run long. I didn't think to check any fluids. It didn't run long. It was full of oil when I started. So the second time, I turned the timing back. So I can't check the timing because the timing tab, I can't see the balancer mark where the timing tab is. So just kind of going by ear. But it did fire right off. No drag, no nothing. So the headers glowed again. I kind of backed off. Also in the back of my mind, I'm scared to death about this camshaft. It is a cam. It is a flat tappet cam. This thing was never properly broken in before it got here, but it was run some, which is not good. How much I don't know, but it has been ran, and there was never anything in the cooling system. I did talk to a guy that worked at this place, at the place this truck was at. So that's what he told me. They had a run stand. They didn't put this motor on it. It was fired in the truck just to hear it run. That was it. The second run, it ran twice as long as the first time, but not a whole lot. And that's when I realized we had milkshake. Now, I almost filled my oil pan full. Like, I had an old gas jug that I just drained the drain pan into a while ago, and it is a lot of oily water mess in that thing, minus a quart of oil that I did pour through this thing just to kind of clean it out before I put everything back together. So I don't know. Now, I do not have, so maybe did the heat cycle seal something up? Does that make sense? Is it possible? I don't know. I just can't figure this out. I came down and I finished it up. That's right. I put the intake back on Monday night. Finished it back up just enough because I wanted to hear it run. That was my wedding anniversary, so I couldn't camp out down here, unfortunately. So that was Tuesday. I'm going to fire this thing now. I do have a 9-volt battery for my temp gun. I just checked the oil. It is clean. It has no water in it, but I only ran it for just a few minutes, enough to get sort of kind of warm. Number 8 header tube, right back to glowing. The merge in the tubes on the driver's side, you'll see in these pictures, also glowing. It's almost like it's got a vacuum leak. There is one vacuum port open on this carburetor, but that is a ported vacuum switch, and it is not sucking vacuum at idle. According to, now I don't know diddly about these carburetors, but according to the Summit video, and as far as I got, this carburetor would have came with a thick base plate gasket. They send that because the accelerator pumps hang down so far and they will hit some intake manifolds. This one does not have that gasket. And in that video, I'm pretty sure that guy said they recommend running that gasket whether there's interference in the runner to accelerator pump or not. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I did spray it with carburetor cleaner while it was running to see if it had a vacuum leak. Couldn't find anything. So I got the temp gun, got the fan set up. I'm gonna stick you on the tripod, and well, let's see if we can run it for 15-20 minutes and see what happens. All right, I went and got more gas just in case. Let's see, bump switch, pull that off. I'm gonna put the bar funnel on here just in case. I'm gonna add just a little bit. Dang. So just a little bit in the funnel. Let's see. Plug wires off the headers. Turn the switch on. Maybe hook up the battery. That'd probably help. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. All right. So 72 degrees. The back bowls are leaking into the carburetor. See if I can back the float bowl down. All right, considering it's the truck is 84 degrees. I mean, this hood's gonna be warm, but the Impala 84 degrees, so it's ambient temperature is really low. I was seeing almost 220 degrees right here at the water neck. The radiator right now is only about, depends on where you hit it, about 183, something like that. Well, it's right here, 195 in the fins, 193 and a half. It's just so warm, like it's even hot up here. The header tubes were glowing again, not as bad. If it's running this warm sitting here, There's 190 on the hose. Then it's not going to cool efficiently. I don't believe anyway. It definitely needs a shroud, and it definitely needs a better fan. There's no water mixing now. That's why I kept pulling this valve cover vent out and taking a look. You know, as long as the cam's okay. I broke it in as good as I could without stuff, you know, burning plug wires up and not knowing what temperature it was at. Everything just getting so hot. Like, it is unreal hot under here. You wouldn't think it would be that hot already, but it definitely gets hot. It runs, it fires right up. It doesn't run clean. We'll work on that. I need to try to get my head up in here and see if this, make sure this carburetor, this accelerator pump's not hitting this intake runner. Back here it's probably okay. It feels pretty clear, but I'm gonna try to stick me something up under there and make sure there's a gap. Put a timing tab on it, see if I can get the timing set, vacuum advance. We still got a lot to do, lots and lots to do. Not exactly sure where I'm gonna jump into right after this, like what task. We're still waiting on rear end. I've got a piddly bit of wiring to clean up. I still got to wire in the wipers and the HVAC stuff. I had to pull this water pump and paint it, and I'm going to finish reading up on this carburetor, see if we can get it adjusted right, look into a fan shroud. There's a lot to do. But yeah, I guess that'll do it for this one. Let me know your thoughts on the water and oil situation. I still don't fully understand that one, but currently it seems to be okay. What's your thoughts on the holes in the block? I have not ran across anyone that has a rhyme or reason for those either. So I'm gonna sit down, figure out where I go from here, and what the next video is gonna be. Till then, thanks for watching Left 4 Dead Garage. We will see you on the next one.